We are about to embark upon a series of strange and exciting, dangerous adventures. Adventures that will lead us to all parts of the world.
Hello and welcome to another Bad Comic Review. This time we are looking at Universal Monsters Dracula Issue 4. This is a 4-part miniseries from Image Comics under Skybound, written by James Tynion IV, art by Martin Simmonds, letters by Russ Wooton, cover by Martin Simmonds, edited by Alex Antone. Cover's really cool. It is Dracula, but it's not action-packed or anything. It kind of should be though, since this is the final installment. So we get Renfield trying to kind of make sense of his role and everything. He's come to terms with the fact that the only person that's ever been nice to him is being converted into a vampire, and Dracula does give him some rats to munch on. Meanwhile, it looks like something is horribly wrong with Mina, and Van Helsing has largely won over Seward, despite Seward's best efforts to deny the reality of the vampire. And as soon as it's realized that Mina is gone, they quickly try and find her, and they come across Renfield running toward Carfax Abbey. So Jonathan Harker, Professor Van Helsing, and Dr. Seward go in pursuit. Now, of course, Dracula is very displeased that it looks like Renfield led these people here and takes action accordingly. While Seward attends to Renfield, Van Helsing and Harker go down to the crypt to try and stop Dracula. We do get a resolution. Now, largely, this miniseries has focused heavily on Renfield, and that does work for the narrative, because he does progress the story quite nicely. Dracula barely speaks in this miniseries at all. In fact, I think the only thing he says is Van Helsing's name. And that's fine. It works pretty well for the story they're telling. The issue I take with this book is that there's actually a scene missing that should have been at the end of last issue. And it's referenced in this issue where Van Helsing says that he showed a mirror to Dracula and it frightened him off. And there is a little flashback panel there, but that scene was never shown to us in any of the issues. I don't know if it was left out or there was some sort of printing error or whatever, but without that scene there, you lose a lot of context of how they are convincing Seward that there's a real problem here. The ending did feel a bit rushed, but it did work for the narrative that they're telling. It just was a little forced. It probably should have had another issue to go into a little more detail about Mina's state of being and how she was being brought across and visited by the Count on multiple occasions for blood drinking, etc. So I was a little disappointed with that, but overall it was a fun story. It was a good interpretation of the movie, which is of course based on the book, but this is based on the Universal movie. The fact that Renfield is more of a central character was an interesting take that I thought was handled pretty well. So I am going to recommend this miniseries. I didn't really feel cheated for my money. I just think there was a few things they should have expanded on that they didn't. So it felt a bit incomplete with the narrative, but it wrapped up pretty nicely, and it was an interesting interpretation of the Dracula lore. So if you can find this in trade paperback, I would absolutely recommend it. You should be able to pick it up for about the same price as the single issues when they were on the stands, which is $5 a piece. So if you can find it for $20 or less in hardcover or trade, I would say it's worth it. If you can find the issues in a back issue bin, they're really nice cardstock covers with good interior paper, and the art is really interesting to look at. So I would say either way of reading it would be really good and probably a lot of fun for the average horror fan. I had a great time reading it. I'm probably going to pick it up in trade just because I really like the art style and I thought the story was pretty well handled. Few minor complaints, but nothing that would keep me from picking this up in a collected edition. But that's going to do it for this one. Thank you so much for listening and supporting the channel. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss future reviews. If you'd like to help the channel out in other ways, links are in the description to various support methods. And as always, we hope to see you on the next one.